This is a round 3 men's game. Referee in charge is John Fowler.
The venerable John Fowler taking charge of this game. And what a game it promises to be against two friends, that's obvious. And this man, Paul Nicholson, and I know all about him. He reached the semi-final of the World Masters, which we were covering as commentators a little more than 12 weeks ago. And this fella, I know less about this man, and I'm probably right in saying you're the same, but he's obviously making an impact in this tournament. He played on Tuesday, whereas this man didn't. He's not played since Saturday. Do you think that might make any difference, or none at all?
I think when you look at Mario, not a great deal bothers him. He's a bit like a rain jacket. You can have a storm hailing down on him, and it's just not going to bother him.
First set, first leg.
You spend
Mario to throw
any time with Mario Vandebogaerde, and you just immediately like the guy. Always smiling. Always got that lovely little grin on his face, even when he's got one of the most important darts matches of his life in front of him. A slight contrast in walk-on songs there, John. I'm not sure which one was your favourite, but I'd have to say that mine was probably Denny's, which was a song called 10 Feet Tall. He'll feel 10 feet tall if he gets through this one.
140.
Well, that's worth 3 feet, that one, straight away. 140, no problem. And I think he's got a similar kind of attitude. I mean, they went into this game shaking hands, hugging each other. That's usually what you do at the end of the game. But we know this fella's competitive. Vandebogaerde, he's, as I say, a semi-finalist. I thought, watching him back at the end of October, that he was going to be winning that, or had a great chance.
57.
But he tended to allow the occasion to get to him. Anyway, this is for a quarter-final place. He's there as a result of beating Sebastian Steyer of Poland 3-0, so he's yet to drop a set. And
59.
his opponent, Danny Olde Kalter from the Netherlands, he had a narrow 3-2 win over Nick Kenny, the Welshman.
60.
Yeah, Vandebogaerde played Saturday afternoon, the very first game of the event, and it seems such a long time ago. A lot has happened since then.
It has, and he's been patiently waiting in the players' room, practicing from time to time. Very friendly guy, who says hello, and yeah, I think he's enjoying himself. I don't think he minds.
Yeah, Denny's got one of those dart players' tans.
Mario requires
spends a lot of time indoors. And first crack at a finish for Mario. And one of the characteristics of his great run at the Circus Tavern in October was
100.
His prolific nature on the 60.
148.
I wonder how much he's going to show of that this evening.
$94.
Actually, Olde is the younger 50. Of the two, and 28 years of age. This man, 18 years his seniors, 46. He's from the Belgian-French border, on the Belgian side of it, I hasten to add, down in West Flanders.
Big miss on the single there from Mario. Looking for a big 10, gets a big miss on the 6. So this time he lays up for double 16.
34.
That's a big mistake to start the match. But if you're going to make a mistake like that, do it in the first leg, I see it.
Cost him a dart, yes. I would have go along with that, because he's looking for double 18. Now split those two and you're in.
18.
So
Mario requires 16.
Vandebogaerde is back for double 8. That's exactly what he wanted. Any mistake he might have made can be forgotten forever. Dispatched to the dustbin, he won the leg.
It's a pretty strong statement to have 96. In your mind when you walk onto the stage. And if you think about it in a positive way, you can utilise it. If you miss, I will hit. And if you say that to yourself all the way through a long game, and it keeps happening, your confidence will swell.
Sure is a swell statement to make, Mr. Nicholson.
He's starting to sound like our friend Joe Cheney.
140.
Yeah, Joe, what a look. I chainsaw. I played a great game, I shot a great game, but couldn't do it. Anyway, let's get back to Belgium and Holland.
Yeah, Vandebogaerde is from a place called Ypres. I think that's the way you say it.
The Meningate. Ypres. Yeah, Ypres. Wipers, the lads called it. My grandfather was there, and he said, yeah, wipers. That was what the English soldiers called it. Yeah. Back in the, just over 100 years ago now.
57.
Yeah.
Denny was trying to leave 170 there by using the 19s. Only gets 3 singles. And if Mario can get himself 2 bits of that right there, then he could wrestle the advantage away.
100.
It gets almost on level terms, and this game is going to have a very deliberate pace because of Mario. Denny likes to get on with things, as do
81.
most Dutch players, but Mario's going to play at his own pace. He's not going to be rushed.
No, he's never that, is he? Absolutely summed it up perfectly there, Nico. In my own time, pal, I may be a nice man, but when it comes to playing darts, I do it my way.
100. Denny requires 127.
Someone who's going to have a challenge like that tonight is Paul Hogan. He's going to have to play at his own pace against one of the fastest players in the tournament.
47.
Yeah. Paul's up there, practicing away, leisurely.
Mario requires 118.
Waiting, he said, I don't mind playing late, but he has to wait until these games are finished. Now he'll come across for the
86.
treble 16. Excellent darts to leave himself
80.
on double 16. But will he get a go at it as Olde Kalter now wants double 10. Fraction inside, and it's 1 apiece. Miss
60.
it, and it might be 2-0.
Should be as well. The previous
Mario
start from Mario
32.
at the 48. Tactically it was the wrong shot, but the execution was perfect. 2 efforts left.
Game
And he only needs the one more.
Mario Vandebogaerde.
And right again with that statement, if
Mario
you miss, I will hit.
Game on.
Yes, and a wrong dart is only a wrong dart if it misses. Isn't it?
Never a true word spoken.
Oh, this is good stuff. That's perfection.
180.
Or, as they say in Ypres, perfection. Brilliant.
Great pronunciation, that. What's perfect in Dutch? We're going to need it. Get your translators out.
Roland Shelton taught me that.
He had a better English accent than me, did Roland. Spent that much time in Leicestershire.
Yeah, we agree. We agree with that.
100.
Well, a 180 apiece in each leg, in the leg. That's some going.
Well, Denny's going to need more of scores like that because Mario
45.
looks pretty comfortable to me. I think maybe the Circus Tavern run has maybe lit the blue touch paper with him and made him believe that he belongs in this lofty company. You don't win the German Open, and that is one of the premier events of the BDO calendar. You don't win that without being quality.
You're right. Had a great year, really, didn't he?
95.
Probably waited patiently for it, really.
Mario requires 81.
So, it goes the 45 route. Nothing wrong with that. It's the old-fashioned route, which I like to call it. But there's nothing wrong with it.
41.
You see how bothered he was by that single 6? Not at all, because he knows single 20 and I'll be back. And what's the point in spending negative energy when you don't need to? And you're not going to get that from Mario right now. All he needs to do is breathe and realise that
Mario
Denny has not missed
40.
a double this time, but he still needs to hit.
Yes. Like it. good guide.
Game
There
shot
it
in the
is.
first set.
Same line.
Mario
You can draw a line down there like the
Second set,
meridian
first
here in
leg.
Greenwich,
Denny
and
to
it'll
throw
go right
first.
through both
Game
darts. Brilliant stuff there.
Both times, or should I say all 3 times, from Mario.
123.
He has a sighter and then perfectly gets it with the next dart in like 1, 2 and 3. Exactly 50 darts for that first set for 3-0. Really consistent.
100.
That's an average of 90. I mean, I make it. If as near as makes it a difference.
It's the old 30-06 at county.
Yeah.
It's the if you win 3-0, it's the
Nice.
closest you can get to exactly 30. Well, the telling stat there for me is the amount of ton pluses, just more consistency on the scoring phase, whereas Denny's just had a few misses left and right.
97.
Just occasionally he has that discus shot, that second dart there where the arm comes across his body, and something to discuss later, I suppose you could
100.
say.
Well, to be honest,
Discuss the discus.
we did actually talk
We did
about
actually,
it
yeah.
during that semi-final at the Circus Tavern where he lost, because it came into that game more than any other.
As the game developed, as the tension grew. So it's something to watch out for if this gets close.
43.
Hasn't been a bad leg so far for Denny. 1, 2, 3, couple of tons to back it up. 178, he's looking at 104 there. That's all right
92.
to leave 86. He'll probably settle down a little bit when he hits his first double.
Yes, he hasn't really had a chance at one yet, has he? Vandebogaerde
140.
basically locked him
Denny
out.
requires 86.
So, a chance. Another one of those. For the bull.
61.
Oh, that's unlucky. Good effort. Good effort.
That wasn't far off.
Mario requires 121.
Not as close as Lisa Ashton on that match dart where it bounced out the bull. Fortunately, it didn't cost her. Now, has Mario got the 25 there? He hasn't, he got a 6, so that's 31 off. Try to
49.
get the treble 18 to leave double.
Denny requires
And
25.
Denny cannot afford to miss these 2 darts at double right here. Doesn't want to start that pattern again like set 1. Double 4 and another
17.
miss. And Vandebogaerde on a slightly harder out this time
Mario
to take
requires
this first
72.
leg. But look at him, ready.
And he goes the treble 12 route. Now he wants 20 for tops. That may be the reason why, because he's been pretty deadly on this.
32.
Another dart, and I'd have fancied that, but
Denny
Kalter, Olde
requires
Kalter
8.
has to take this out. Attack it, lad. You got to attack it. You got to get there.
No
Got to
score.
attack it. That's where his first dart should have been, where his last one was.
I completely agree with
Mario
you.
requires
Just a bit
40.
defensive.
Yes. He'll attack this.
Olde Kalter misses. Vandebogaerde hits.
Game shot in the first leg.
That has
Mario
been the tail of the
Vandebogaerde.
tape. And I don't blame Denny for going to
Second leg,
get
Mario
a
to
glass of
throw
water right
first.
now, because if I was
Game
in his
on.
shoes, I'd do the same.
Yes. I think I'd get a priest from the audience to come and bless it first. I'm thinking he's been unlucky on some of his doubles, but that was a very ineffective attempt at double 4.
140.
This fella can grind you down. No question about that.
60.
Maybe it's just going to be one of those evenings for Denny, because all 3 darts there were thrown really well. And they're all kissing the wire of that 60. But 60's all he gets for his efforts. Back comes Mario, right back in.
100.
Ton left to do.
I just have a feeling about this match
58.
that poor old Denny Olde Kalter could end up getting whitewashed. And by whitewashed, I mean 4-0. And at the moment, he's yet to win a leg. The longer that goes on, and it might sound obvious, but I'm talking about the effect it has on the man who's losing rather than the effect it has on the man who's winning. He might just fold,
140.
totally give up. But that
Mario
suggests to me that that's the last thing on his mind at the moment.
Well, you make a good point, John, because it had a huge effect on Lorraine Winstanley in the last game. She missed so many doubles, and the misses early had a huge effect on her. But Vandebogaerde is just doing his own thing, pressing on with the job, 50% on doubles.
140.
And it doesn't matter what kind of pressure Denny can put on him right here.
36.
He's left 36 after only 12 darts in this leg to say to Denny, you're not going to break me. And he isn't,
in the second leg.
because a 13 darter puts him in a hugely advantageous position.
Game on.
Yes, and 4 out of 8 becomes 5 out of 9, and actually he's got 100%. If you see 81. What I mean, because he's not yet conceded a leg. He's hit every double that he's gone for, even if it hasn't always been in the first with the first dart. The fact is, he's been successful every time. So that stat, good though it is, 5 out of 9, is even better when you look at the score. 1 set to 0, 2 legs to 0. Still best of 4. Time yet for a fight back, but he's got to start it
58.
Pretty soon.
Well, if I'm looking for bright sides for Denny, it's if Mario goes into the break 2 sets to 0 up. That's not a good sign, because that has been the curse of 2020 here at Indigo at the O2 so far. People have not gone forward with those kinds of positions. The break can change a lot, but I just don't see it affecting Mario.
We saw him under pressure at the Circus Tavern
60.
10 weeks ago, and he began to show signs of it. And that's what Olde Kalter's got to do. Try to win a few legs. Try and put the pressure on him so that he's indulging in the disco throw.
81.
Good recovery. But the one thing we also know is something that we mentioned in Mario's first game against Sebastian Steyer. He has a level of performance when he needs it. The game he had with Jeff Smith
90.
at the Circus was probably the game of the tournament, because it was close, it was full of quality, and the amount of 180s that Mario hit, that's what won him the match. Gave himself enough opportunities to shut the Canadian out.
78.
And right now he just seems to be picking off those really important last dart trebles, which will be silently frustrating the Dutchman.
Oh, it does you a lot of good as well when you hit a treble with the last dart to make the score reasonable. Like that, for instance, that's a perfect example of what we're just describing.
Mario requires 142.
It's a nothing score, and then that suddenly makes it worthwhile. And in fact gives Olde Kalter a genuine chance of taking it. But he wanted the bull there. Now he's come down for 17. And it's 112. Most players like it, actually. It's down the line. Now a treble for double 16. Well, therein lies the trouble.
76.
He never got the treble.
Well, he
Mario requires
threw that last
40.
dart away at double 18, and he's left double 18. But it shouldn't matter, because that's the guide he's used all game.
Game shot in the second set.
Yeah,
Mario
it's beautiful. It's quietly noisy.
First leg, Mario to throw first.
If I may say it that
Game
way.
on.
Silently deadly.
Yes. Yes. I do slightly prefer that, actually.
Well, if he keeps going at that particular standard,
54.
you get the feeling that Denny's going to have to raise his game by at least 10% in his average. Maybe even 15%.
100.
But the more it goes on, the more he's going to get frustrated.
I'm going to hark back to that double 4. He never really quite attacked it and threatened it and every chance, and that's what you've got to be doing. Especially as this
60.
fella sent out the signal, as you've so eloquently put it. When you miss, I hit. Simple as that. So what you do is you don't miss. And if you do, at least you make sure that you've given it a proper go.
Oh, just taking the sports psychology to another level. When your opponent hasn't missed and you don't go through that whole process of if you miss, I hit.
41.
Instead of saying to yourself when you go up to the board, I don't want to miss, you just say half of what I said before. Just say, I hit. It's implanting positive things
85.
into your brain before you do the task at hand.
But you're a thinking man. Not every dart player is a thinking man, at least as deeply as that.
Oh, it was definitely my downfall.
140.
And that, again, is what you have to put into the equation. You can overthink sometimes.
Yep, that's true.
Because basically,
100.
Nico, it's a simple game. It's complicated. It's made more complicated by the individual who's playing it.
Yeah, it's a bit like playing golf, and you know, I think about that too. But then my brother plays it, and he says,
140.
ball, stick, hole.
Denny requires 120.
This is board, dart, chuck.
Well, he needed the treble
88.
20 there, and he never really
Mario
attacked it.
requires
If
66.
Vandebogaerde was on 166, you could have understood it. He could take this out, and Olde Kalter's tactics will have been deemed to have been extremely faulty.
46.
Luckily, he's got away with it. Now wants 32, and
Denny
this is a
requires 32.
must-get visit.
Needs his first double. Can't keep missing. But he
16.
does keep missing. And Vandebogaerde is thinking, how many chances do you want to give me?
Mario requires
How
20.
easy do you want to make this for me? This is the last 16 of the BDO
Game
World
shot in the
Championship.
first leg. Mario
Maybe this
Vandebogaerde.
occasion
Second
is
leg,
just
Denny to
too
throw
much
first.
for
Game
Denny.
on.
But every single time Mario is there to pounce. Look at him closing his eyes. He's just trying to figure out what's going on.
81.
Yeah, he's losing control, to be honest, because he again didn't really threaten the double there. I think his confidence has been sapped by his incompetence and the
100.
competence of Vandebogaerde combined. But he's obviously got ability, and if he can find his game, then at
43.
least he can give this score some respectability, and that's the least he will want to do. But only 43 there. The more this goes on, the more this fella will be thinking, because you are aware of what the other man's doing, obviously. He's literally playing the board.
140.
Playing the board because that's all he's got to play.
Yeah, let's not forget as well that those opportunities of double 16 were to break the throw. But now Mario
100.
has held. He's putting himself into a great position to break himself. If you look at the lead hand, the throwing hand of Mario before he lets the dart go, there's no quivering there, there's no nervousness,
140.
no anxiety, there's just focus and poise.
Just very occasionally
Mario
you get a little bit
121.
of stiffness on the follow through, but at the moment he's so much in control of the game, no duress involved, just enjoying himself quietly. The quiet assassin.
65.
It's a bit like when you're doing a practice and you're hitting everything and you think, yeah, well, what's the point in stopping? I'll just keep doing this. Now, another one of those would be handy if you're in soft tip darts, because it would get you the leg.
Yep.
It's what's called master out. If you can finish on treble and double, but this is steel tip where you got to finish on a double, and he had to be careful there, because if he hit the flight, it might have gathered
Mario requires
and bust the
56.
shot. But Vandebogaerde for 2-0 in the third set. He needs tops. He's got 2 for it.
Double 10. Down the line.
Game
That's
shot
it.
and a
No
second
problem.
leg.
And that will hurt Olde Kalter, because he'd worked to get that with
Third
that
leg,
previous
Mario to throw
visit.
first.
The fact that he
Game
didn't
on.
get a go at it in the end will have hurt.
In footballing terms, it's like Denny Olde Kalter's had a man sent off and another man sent off, because it is 2-0 in the third set.
100.
Mario Vandebogaerde is 8-0 up in legs. And right now, if he is a thinker, he might be thinking, I want to beat him 12-0.
Yeah. And I haven't got a crystal glass, but I just sensed 20 minutes ago that might be
42.
a possibility when I mentioned the whitewash. Not just the whitewash in sets, but actually in legs. And that's something that Denny Olde Kalter will definitely want to avoid.
Well, in his position, that's the first thing he's thinking about right now. He just wants to get a leg on the board. But
140.
in all my time covering World Championships, I have seen one game where it's best of 7 sets and someone didn't get a leg. It was Michael van Gerwen versus James Wilson, and Michael just had one of those nights
100.
and James did not.
Yes. Need say no more.
Look at Mario again, steady, ton, 140, just getting on with it.
57.
Try to leave the 170, and that would have been to finish the set off, but he'll be back and have minimum 6 starts.
59.
I don't see any defiance from Denny Olde Kalter right now. He doesn't look likely to win a leg. Crazy thing is, these guys have played each other a couple of times.
100.
Yes.
And Denny won both times.
Absolutely. And that will affect, I think, the lad who's trailing, Olde Kalter, rather than the chap who's winning, who's
100.
quite considerably
Mario requires
older,
104.
good deal more experienced, and he knows that the game isn't won until he's hit that final double, and I think he's that kind of person anyway. Here we go. Once a double, 16
Game shot
for
on the third
104.
set. Mario
That's
Vandebogaerde.
3 sets to 0, and now that potential for a complete whitewash is now
Full
almost
set first
a
leg.
reality.
Denny to throw first.
9-0
Game
in
on.
legs, 3-0 in sets.
Well, whenever I hear that scoreline 9-0, it reminds me of one of my favourite conversations that I've ever had in the
41.
world of darts. I remember former champion Richie Burnett, back from 1995, came back from a match, and I said to him, "How'd you get on, Richie?" And he went, "I lost 6-3, bud. I should have won 9-0.
140.
Great old mate of ours, Dennis Priestley, was reigning world champion on the PDC. Of course, he won the very first one, and the next year he went down to a 9 legs to 0 defeat
60.
in a round robin version. Then I think it was against John Lowe as well. And I remember Dennis saying, "Time for me to retire." He was really upset about it, but he didn't, and of course he had a glorious career
60.
afterwards. But yes, it was 9-0 in legs, 3 sets to 0.
Quite unbelievable that Dennis didn't win another title after 94.
Yeah, it is. He was the one who was pushing Taylor more than anybody else at the time. What's that all about?
I'm not sure what that hand signal means. I think I might have seen that on Geordie Shore once. It doesn't mean that I know what it means, but I think he's just trying to figure out what's going on and maybe trying to relax a little bit more and forget about the situation.
134.
But he's got the crowd on his side now. They want him to win a leg.
And I thought that was an excellent sign. Come on, Denny, beautifully put together. Artwork was exceptional.
Yeah, nice bit of calligraphy there.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Well,
140.
Mario just took a little extra time there to have a little inhalation and exhalation because he noticed that the crowd were getting involved and he just wanted to take his time. Well, that's a sign of experience.
61. Mario requires 161.
Well, once again, first to the shout of a possible out, and he's the man who threw second. I think it's fair to say, judging by Olde Kalter's reaction there, that he's virtually given it up. He just can't get his game together well enough to challenge Vandebogaerde.
43.
Not good enough, because he's now given Mario
requires
6 starts from 71. Even the small 4, the switch to the 18s isn't working. That's a good miss, because now he can go 13 tops.
And tops he wants then. It's
Game
easy,
turn in the first
and in
leg.
a way,
Vandebogaerde.
that helps Olde Kalter get that one out of the way. He knew that he was going to get it in the next 6 starts, so get it out of the way. I think now the lad probably resigned himself to the fact that he may well be going
Second
down
leg, Mario to throw first.
a 9-0 in legs victory. I mean, from 3 sets to 0, it's still not impossible for him, if he could somehow win this set, for him to get back in the game. If they were playing match play, you'd say no chance.
Correct. If I were Denny Olde Kalter, I'd get on the phone to the Carpathia now, because I'd be sinking. Well, Mario is in a fabulous position, but he's got to maintain focus here. And he's got to
57.
almost mimic what was on the back of a shirt earlier in the tournament from Gabriel Pescaro. He had a nickname, Gabos, and that meant game ain't based on sympathy.
41.
So he's got to be unsympathetic and get the job done. And if he can get himself 4 sets to 0 without losing a leg, we'll never forget this game for a very long time.
59.
That's the dart that John Gwynn was talking about, where the it's just released a little bit late and the shoulder gets involved. But even with no treble there, he's still got an 85 advantage, and Olde Kalter just looks puzzled.
Well, I think everybody in the room would like to see him win a leg.
65.
65 takes him down to 320. Not 325, 320 it is.
I've been in the position to beat someone without letting them win a leg on the World Championship stage, and I was in bullish mood when I was 6-0 up, and I thought, nah, I don't want to give you anything here. Olde Kalter gets himself a 1-2-5, but once more Mario has 6 starts from a finish. He can stroll towards the finish line and potentially 1 leg away. Well, this would be a 6-start conversion of 300 points, but not anymore. That was a bad dart. He has got time on his side.
80.
It may be one of those where the dart came across his body. We can only assume perhaps it was that, and now Olde Kalter looking to make a hole in this. 97.
65.
Well, I thought he'd have gone for treble 19 there, but anyway, he's on a finish, 132, but
40.
as has been the case with so many legs, he's not going to get a shot at it probably. He's lethal on this, double 10 down the line. Inside there by a fraction, it's all over. There you are, that's all it needed.
Second leg. Mario Vandebogaerde.
I said you didn't have a crystal ball. You could have fooled me, John. You just knew that was going in.
Yes. Well, you can almost, it's not just the darts, it's the way the player feels, the player's mood, and I feel as though I'm in tune with him. I'm certainly in tune with that lad. I'm really delighted. Look at the crowd, they're loving it. He's losing by 8 legs to 0. No, 10 legs to 0.
Oh, look at this. You gotta love that.
It's unreal.
You don't want to lose a single leg in the last 16. He gets 180'd against, and his response is unbelievable.
Well,
59.
drama, even where it ought not to exist. So one-sided. Now then, 4 perfect darts. 4.5 perfect darts, but that's not enough. Actually, 5.5. Good going, good stuff. 190 left.
I get the feeling that the Belgian contingent are really enjoying this. Jackie hasn't sat down for 2 legs. Oh, another 180. He's not going without a fight. And even Jackie claps that one.
Well, he hadn't hit a 180 in the match. He's now hit 2 in a leg. He's down to 82. And it's all about the finishing, really. And, well, I reckon this audience here, and maybe people watching wherever they are, will give a round of applause if he wins this leg. He's going to have a go at it. Tops if he gets the 17. Double top.
Game shot on the 3rd leg. Olde Kalter.
He's made it. He's not going to be whitewashed. Olde Kalter is going to be beaten out of sight. But at least he saved the indignity of the whitewash.
Well, John, we've got to start talking about the fight back now. Because it could be, if you can do it, it will be the greatest comeback in the history of the game.
Of course it will, and of course it's not going to happen. But if we're still sitting here in 40 minutes' time saying, I can't believe it,
140.
Well.
We'll have to say I can't believe it is butter.
Now, at least now, the aim now is to try and win a set, isn't it? Win a set.
Yep, small battles. They all add up to big victories. I've said that on many occasions.
60.
Just when you think you've seen it all. This has been strangely entertaining, this game. But
I tell you what, Paul, I feel quite ashamed of myself, because in all my years of commentating on darts, and I'm not going to say how many they are, I've never cheered a player. I've been non-partisan all the way through. Now suddenly I've spoiled my record because I really wanted him to get that.
91.
oh, good darts from Mario. Still 1 leg away. Olde Kalter's starting to play proper darts now, though. 140 ton.
57.
Doesn't get himself a trouble on that visit, and Vandebogaerde can get one of those big scores that he's had plenty of in this game. Well, that makes it awkward.
Again, that's the one. That's the one. And really, the state of the game, he shouldn't be doing that. He should be completely in control. I wonder if I'm going to be saying that in half
36.
an hour and saying, it has affected him.
Well, we have seen players rebound from 3 sets to 1 down already. So if Denny can take this leg and get the 2-2 and
98.
get another leg on the board in the next one, we go to a break, and then he has a little bit of breathing time, a little bit of time out backstage, and then it's not out of the question. But that's a great 140 to pressure. Wonderful darts from Mario.
Come back for 74 for the match. No, but he may not. 46. He's going to cross to the 10. Now he wants double 18. He likes this. Brilliant dart. Brilliant finish. 106. Well, that's the first break of throw he's had in the game, and that's obvious. Otherwise, he'd have won more legs. But what a few moments for that lad, and he's got the crowd behind him. And you know, there's such a thing as the law of relativity of darts. As one player's game rises and improves, the other player's game often diminishes at the same rate, and they meet somewhere in the middle. Well, I'm not saying we're there yet, but if this leg is won by the Dutchman rather than the Belgian, we might start thinking, could it happen?
darting physics lesson for you all from Professor Gwyn. But there's a lot of truth in that, because
60.
a couple of legs ago, Professor Gwyn said all about it being match play and being 11-0 up. Of course he doesn't win, but in set format, it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, it's like the tennis player who wins a game 6-4, or rather, 6-4, 1-6, 1-6, 6-4, 6-4. He's lost more legs. He's lost more games
60.
than he's won, but he still wins because it's set play.
Absolutely correct. Denny's only got one treble in this leg, and it was a treble 7. But all of a sudden the throw's breaking down for Mario. Psychologically, he probably thought he was going to get rid of this game 4-0. Right now he's got to summon some strength to get that done.
Well, whilst
93.
Vandebogaerde won't want the break, he'll want to win it here and now. It might actually be what he needs, if you see what I mean. He'll certainly need it if he does win. If he does lose this, which obviously the break will come.
Well, Mario's maintained that 90 and
43.
change average all the way through this match, from set 1 to now. It hasn't changed at all.
I think the crowd's got to Mario, and I actually think that whilst he looks as though he's enjoying it, I'm beginning to think that he's faltering.
Yeah, the crowd want Denny to win this set because they don't want the match to end. And Mario's very wise to that. And all of a sudden, look at this from Denny.
Oh, ho, ho. We had Gerwyn Price in the room yesterday. I thought that was him for a minute, the way he was celebrating there. He took 106 out a few minutes ago, didn't he, Paul? 106, just... Can he do it again?
Well, look what Mario's left. He's left 106 as well, so it's a 106 off. Oh, smart, double 13 for the set. Oh, he hasn't missed a finish in the last 3 legs. Because he doesn't hit that 82, he's gone. It's as simple as that. Mario's on a 2-darter, and he will be disposed of. But for me, it's about how bouncy and chirpy he is at the back of the stage now compared to earlier, because now he fancies it.
And I've got to say, the crowd does play its part in certainly in this game. It's played its part. Initially it was a case, as I wanted him, and I'm sure you did, wanted him to win a leg, not to walk off that stage without winning a single leg. But it's simply, it certainly turned
59.
that set on its head. And it might yet be the catalyst for turning the game on its head.
Let me tell you somebody who wants this game to go on a little bit longer.
135.
And that's Dave Evans, because he plays the winner, and the last thing he wanted was someone like Mario Vandebogaerde to have a stroll in a last 16 match. He wants him to be really tested.
60.
And all of a sudden, Mario is just not finding those trebles.
No, I think it's genuinely got to him. And Danny here will recognise that. Dart players do recognise that. You know that when your opponent is feeling a touch under duress.
He's got to find the same mindset that he had in the first 3 sets.
140.
And that's a great visit from Mario, because since the break he hasn't really found anything. That there is the first sign of getting a grip, and as soon as Mario hits, then he starts to miss.
Well, if I were him now, I would certainly
59.
be grateful for the crowd's contribution, but I'd try and concentrate nonetheless mid-throw.
I agree with you, John, wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Even though he did get that treble 19.
I get the feeling he's been a bit distracted by some exuberant fans. They may have helped him so far, but only he can affect the scoreline. Now, double 10. There aren't many good misses in darts, but that was a good miss.
Now then, come on, try and forget the crowd behind you. Have them behind you, have them with you, but concentrate on your own game.
It's like he's looking at the crowd asking if he should gamble.
Yes. Double 10. And you've got to take your opponent
100
into consideration.
Mario requires 115.
There are two players playing this game.
Now he's got to get 5 19s. Now, Denny, to take the lead
59
in this set, to inch even closer to Mario.
20.
Like you say, John, he's got to start looking forward as opposed to looking back. That's a bad dart. That's not brilliant.
10.
And now he's invited Mario in. It's pretty much
Mario
like it was in set 1 and 2.
56.
He misses the clean shot, and Mario's on a 2-darter. This was the 2-darter he was on for the match when Denny took out 82.
Well, early in the game he was hitting that, and early in the game he was hitting this.
Well,
that's exactly where he was hitting it. And he needed that. He needed that as much as he's needed a leg at any time in this game. And, well, who's that man in the audience? Do you recognise him?
He looks familiar.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of... Oh, look at that, though. Look at that. 180. The man in the audience we saw there, whose name I can't remember. He's hit 1 or 2 of those.
Well, everybody who's tuning in to watching this championship tonight, who is a little bit technically savvy, please send me a GIF on social media and to Eurosport and to the video of Jackie Gernthals doing his different celebrations, because he is as boisterous and as fun as anybody in this building. And when someone from Belgium like Mario Vandebogaerde is playing, he's even more boisterous and fun. So please do that for us.
Such a contrast now between the two. He's unflinching, Vandebogaerde.
$83.
Not bad at all. Now he's got to utilise the 19s when he returns, because the last thing you want to do is leave yourself on 99. You want to be on a 2-darter, or even better.
I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, because a couple of legs ago Vandebogaerde wanted 115, and for years and years and years I've been saying always go the 19s. 96 is a much better 2-dart finish to go for than 95.
Totally agree with you.
Never seen the point, and yet more players seem to go the 20 route. Anyway,
140.
Well, he was aggressive on dart 3, but if he gets the ton there, he's 99. It again wasn't the right plan, but he gambled and won. 167's not going to go, so Denny will be back for that somewhat simple 2-darter, easy in theory, to get rid of leg 2.
59.
This time Mario can't get himself to the 2-dart range, so, oh no, 38 off.
21 left, double 8.
43.
Well, he's given the Belgian a chance here, 107.
106 has been the number in this game so far, because Denny's took it twice. Can Vandebogaerde go one better? It will be at tops to put him again within one leg of the match. Fantastic stuff from Mario, and there goes Jackie once more, who's loving it. That's a great finish.
Third leg, Mario to throw first.
Yeah, because he's been under pressure the last few legs. There's nothing worse than the thought in the back of your mind that you'd won the first 11 legs and then you don't go on to win the match. That puts a different kind of pressure on, if you like. But how he's responding now, that's absolutely brilliant. That's his fourth 180 of the match. His opponent's had 3, and his opponent's had 3 in the last few legs. In fact, he's had 3 in the last few legs. But surely now.
It's as if Mario's just had a word with himself in the break and said, all right, I've had enough of this shenanigans. I want rid of this game. Still got to get the job done.
81.
That is a really good last start, just to maintain that big lead.
No. He's saying to himself, this is hard work. Now I don't know what I'm doing.
He's trying to enjoy the experience as much as he can, and he's squeezed the lemon for all it's got, but
yeah,
Mario is just too good right now.
That double 19 summed it up. It's the last thing he needed, really.
Correct. If he gets a clean out of 19 and tops, he feels completely different.
83.
Pull that one, and he's still pulling the odd one now, but he's homing in on victory surely now, as Olde Kalter really has to put 6 very impressive darts together, but it ain't gonna happen. He's had his moments.
81.
He hasn't been whitewashed. He has tried to get back in the game, but surely now the experience of this man.
142. Mate, look at the bullseye here. Yeah, 97.
60.
That's good stuff. Gets himself under 100. I like the way he was thinking that out. I also like this thinking. Taking the 19 off, and he knows if he gets another 60, he'll be on a finish. Still 99. Good darts. But Mario has got time
97.
to get over the line this time.
97. That's 78 left. Treble 18 for double 12. He's under no obligation to get it. Just
57.
Square it up nicely. Tops when he goes. And this could be Denny Olde Kalter's last visit to the World Championship Hockey this year.
I don't remember any time in the match where Mario had 3 darts in hand for a double and didn't take it out.
Mario requires 40.
First dart, the number 11 seed.